Hey guys, Nicole here with Momentum Accounting. So, one of the things that we should be doing when we onboard a new client is to go through with them all of their employees and contractors and make sure that when we are categorizing them on the profit and loss statement that we're putting them in the right bucket. And when I mean by bucket, I'm talking about your 50-30-20, right? Your direct costs versus your overhead costs. This is one of the number one mistakes that I see accounting firms make is they don't do this step. And so what happens is when clients are looking at their profit and loss statement, it's not very valuable. So the question is how do we go through that process with the client to make sure that we are categorizing their people costs properly? And so what we want to do is first of all, we want to explain to them the difference between a direct employee versus an overhead employee. And so a direct employee would be any employees who are generating revenue. So if you ran a bookkeeping company, that would be the bookkeepers who are servicing your client. And then an overhead staff would be the CEO's salary, would be the COO, would be the IT department, HR, sales, all of the people who are supporting the revenue producing staff. So, one, we need to educate the client on what that means, but then two, we also need to understand their organizational structure. So, what we want to do is we want to ask the client if they have an org chart. A lot of the times, our smaller business clients are going to say, "What's an org chart?" or "No, I don't have an org chart." And so the cool thing is we have now ChatGPT available to us. And so even though we may not know a business intimately, right, or what their org structure should look like the way we would know our own business, we can use ChatGPT to ask. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, give me an org chart that I can export to Excel for a land for I'm going to give it make sure to give it a size too, because the bigger the company, the more layer management layers we need, right? I'm going to say $2 million landscaping company and categorize each role by COGS versus overhead. Let's see what we get. Okay, so we're getting into all the delivery people. So these are the people who are delivering the landscaping services: technician, irrigation specialist, operations manager. So typically the operations manager, sometimes I notice ChatGPT will put that into overhead or COGS. And this would be like the person who is actually managing the client facing team. And so I like to put that person in direct cost into COGS, okay, versus business operations manager, who would be like your COO. They're more internal facing, would be an overhead. So we can see that ChatGPT nailed it. We've got the delivery staff, then we've got the overhead. And so what we can do is we can say, hey, client, not only can I help you with your accounting, I can actually help you with your org structure. And then I'm going to make sure that this org structure ties back to your profit and loss statement. And let's see, it's not giving me, please give me an Excel file. So we'll have the client go through and fill this out, and then they'll have the names of the people, their staff here. And then as a last step to this, we want to make sure. So one of the reasons we like Gusto and Rippling and some of these modern softwares, payroll software, is because we can go into that. We like to use Gusto a lot. And so we'll go into Gusto and we can set up a department by overhead and by direct costs. And you can even get more detailed if you like to break out things like by sales versus your admin staff. And then we can start to build the profit and loss statement around those categories. So you can see here, they exported this or created an Excel file for me. And there we have it. So we can put this now in a Google Sheet and show it to the client.